Today we talk about
LeBron's
LeBron
bitch
James
ass.
and tic-tac fouls.
For the win! He did it!
I don't know.
I've wanted to do a LeBron podcast for episodes in the past.
You know what, though?
And we finally get an excuse to do it.
What about Kevin
I'm
Durant,
excited.
though?
I'm
KD.
over it. I was mad at him for leaving. I'll always remember where I was when I read the article that he was going to Golden State. I don't give a fuck anymore.
No, I don't care about that. But here's what I do care about: his fake social media accounts.
That's
what I care
don't care about it. I don't care anymore. All I care about is LeBron being a bitch pussy motherfucker. That's what I care about.
That's the thing, Ian. Why does he have to do that? Why you don't have to do that?
I need to look up one stat on LeBron.
Okay.
And then
Let's look at this bad boy.
How many times has LeBron been fouled out?
6 times.
6 times.
In this season alone?
No, ever.
Oh,
8 times. Ejected once.
8 times?
Yes.
Okay.
So, the reason that I look up how many times he's been fouled out in a 15-year career, I think this is his 15th season.
Yeah.
That motherfucker has fouled out 8 times in 15 seasons. He's been to the finals, 8 times? So, not only is he playing 82 games in a season, he's been to the playoffs every year but his rookie year. So he's playing like 100 games a year. He's fouled out 8 times. And he's going to get up to the fucking podium and say that they should have been fouls. On what did Michael Rappaport say? Tic-tac bullshit or something?
Tic-tac fouls.
Like, I don't know how you can sit there and say, yeah, they cost us the game, took us out of the game, it fouled me. Like, 15 years, you fouled out 8 times, motherfucker. You've been getting away with that shit. You've been on the other end of that for 15 seasons.
Not only that, but we just watched the fouls. They were
tic-tac bullshit.
They wouldn't even be called in Little League.
No.
They wouldn't be called in high school.
I'll let my kids play through that.
I mean, by God. And Kevin Durant, what did he say? He's like, the same dudes arguing on Twitter wouldn't have called that a foul at 24-hour fitness pickup ball or something. Like, that's true. I was on board with the KD hate. I'm over it. I'm on KD's side with this.
Yeah.
And it's unbiasedly. Because I, as a 7-year vet of Little League, reffing, I have a thing or two to say about the officiating in the NBA. And on this, I think they got it right.
Yeah.
Because there's too many times at the high school level, at the college level, at the NBA level, that the refs take the game out of the players' hands and just take it to themselves.
And
And that's a situation where they let them play. And I think the right outcome happened because of it.
And here's the thing, though. I feel like, 100% star athletes get treated differently. 100%.
Yes.
There's no transparency about it.
Yeah, I heard about one time in a football, in a football meeting for the NFL, there was one team. I don't know any teams. I don't know any team names or anything like that.
We know that.
So I hope you guys just follow me or whatever. But anyways, there was a team meeting, and the third string quarterback fell asleep in the meeting. Hadn't played one game of football yet. Fell asleep in the meeting. They woke him up late night. Cut him. And then the starting quarterback fell asleep. That same meeting, they woke him up. Hey man, stay awake. Just let him go. So every reason in the world, stars on professional sports teams get treated way differently. And so I'm sure that LeBron is throwing a hissy fit because usually he'd probably get those calls. Yeah. I bet he'd get those calls. But now here we are with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a pretty big star too. And especially they were at home.
Right.
So he didn't get those calls. Now he's throwing a fit because he's not used to people saying no. He's like a spoiled child. Not used to people saying no.
I think that's a good way. He's not used to being told no.
Yep.
And Kyle Korver had my least favorite quote from anybody I've ever respected in my life. Mm. He said earlier, when he got traded to the Cavs, he gave this interview. He said, When you're playing against LeBron, you think, man, he gets all the calls. When you're on his team, you think, man, he doesn't get any calls. I think that's fucking horse shit.
Yeah.
The league has catered to him since 2003, and there's no denying it. The man is 270 pounds. He's 6'8". He plays like a point guard. He is the most physical player maybe ever.
He's a stud.
Like
him or not.
He constantly, I feel like he could constantly get charging calls.
Exactly. He plays like a tank. He plays like a running back with a lead blocker or some shit. And he's fouled out 8 times in, I don't even know how many career games. Thousands. Maybe not thousands. I don't know if anyone's ever played thousands. But he's fouled out 8 times. So he's going to sit there and say that he doesn't get calls. His teammates are going to have his back on all this charade type bullshit. But it's stupid. Like, it's a meaningless game. He lost. His team is not as good as the Warriors, even without Steph Curry. Steph Curry didn't play. He's been injured. And he's still going to sit here and complain about this tic-tac ass, hit him on the wrist bullshit on a drive where he took the drive, picked up the ball, lowered his shoulder, like goddamn Jerome Bettis for the Steelers back in the day, and fucking goes to the hole, loses the ball out of bounds, and he's going to say, why didn't I get fouled?
I saw his arms go for a back hug.
It's just fucking ridiculous. And the NBA, let's talk about those motherfuckers. They come out and say, the officials missed 2 calls at the end of the game, should have been called. Who is that helping? They can do this official report the day after, and they say, we missed 2 foul calls in the last 45 seconds. Whatever. That's throwing your officials under the bus and just giving LeBron's bitching the legs it needs to go viral on Twitter and Reddit.
If players say that kind of stuff about the officials a lot of times, they get fined.
Yeah.
So, why does the league get to do it?
It doesn't help anybody to say we missed 2 fouls. Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
It's a 50-50 call. Like, the 2 that they're talking about is the foul call on his drive to the rack, which LeBron initiated the contact, as he does on every drive that he's done since 2003, and he just lost it out of bounds. I mean, it could have been a foul call, but it would have been a little ticky-tack-ass foul for 30 seconds left. And then you go with the one he lost the ball out of bounds, and then he flops and, whips his head.
Flops for sure.
I mean, it's just bullshit.
One time he flops and gives himself a concussion. Has he ever done that, you think? He's
never fucking been injured in his 15-year career.
You know what stinks, though? It'd be hard to be an NBA ref. Because that was a lose-lose situation for them. If you think about it.
It's not. Because you have one job to do. I don't think they're allowed to do their job to their best ability.
No, they can't. Because here's the thing. It's a lose-lose situation. That was a lose-lose situation for them because they didn't call it. Because if they did call it, uproar. We did a whole podcast about them, calling stupid fouls to lengthen the game or not calling fouls to go home early, So if they called it, what'd you call that for? They're home. That's the home team that they're calling the foul on. It's the last 30 seconds of the game or whatever. Like, what are you calling? He didn't even do anything. Right? But, so, they say, okay, we're not going to call it. But then, they don't call it, and now, probably the biggest star in the NBA right now is throwing a hissy fit, and then the league comes out and throws more shade at him.
While I agree with you, I don't agree with you for the reasons you said. Because I don't think the ref gives a fuck what LeBron James says to him or about him. I really don't. I think at this point, they have thick skin about it. But I read Tim Donaghy's book, The Disgraced Ref That Got Popped for Gambling in NBA games and stuff. And he said that every game he ever reffed, which was hundreds, he reffed for a long time. He said he would receive the ref list of where they were flying out to ref, and then they would get a call from the league office with game notes, air quotes on that, where he would say the league is trying to tighten up on this one specific move. Like, he gave an example of, a game he reffed of Michael Jordan's, where there was this one move that everybody in the league was doing. It was like a drop step spin. Oh, no, it was some weird offensive move. And they were like, you've got to call this a travel, because it is a travel. So we got to call this. We got to be watching out specifically for this one move. And so Michael Jordan does it in the first quarter. He calls it travel, and Michael Jordan's like, did they tell you to call that? You can't call that on me. I'm Michael Jordan. And then, like, after the game, they said the same thing. They were like, hey, we know we said to call this, but obviously, not on mic. And then there's other situations where, you know how they let them play a little bit and be handsy and stuff?
Yeah.
There's this guy that played for the Suns and the Sixers for a long time named Rajah Bell.
Mm-hmm.
He's the closest thing to a Kobe stalker that the league ever had. And anytime he would play against Kobe, the league is like
2 fouls in the first
he's
quarter.
like, hey, get him in foul trouble early. Like, the fans pay to see Kobe. Like, we don't want to see Rajah Bell hold him to 8 for 27 shooting or whatever. So I think it was a lose-lose situation, but I respect the ref for not making the call. I really do, because I feel like I say, I don't just talk out of my ass when I say the league caters to LeBron for 15 years, because the league has. You can just tell by the way he's been allowed to play, the way he's been allowed to be involved in his organization.
Even just the way he
Even
acts.
the decision was an ESPN special and stuff to go to South Beach. Like, the league has catered to him for 15 years. Those are calls he should be getting, because that's the calls he's been getting for 15 years. But I respect the ref for not making the call, because it was the right call not to make that.
Yeah, name one other team in the NBA that caters their entire organization around one player.
Nobody does it.
Yeah.
I mean, he might as well be the GM for the way that is.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no respect for him. And then I think he's very fake. He says, losing to the Warriors don't bother me no more. I lost in 5 finals. Losing don't mean shit to me anymore. I'm like, yeah, it does. It does to everyone. You're a professional athlete on the biggest stage. Losing still matters to you.
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you, I've never ever seen another athlete where they cover on Bleacher Report where he gets his child in the stands candy. You know? Like, why'd they cover that?
Another thing I don't like about him, and now I'm just talking crap about him. I've done my piece on why he's a pussy for whining about the foul calls. He's a fake person to the media. They ask him about, like, what's the most important thing you've ever done in your career? And he's like, man, my son taking his first steps is more important than every ring I'll ever win. I'm like, no. No, it's not. Are you kidding me? I don't care how many kids you have and how many steps they take. Winning an NBA championship and a finals MVP is more important than your son taking one step out of millions that he'll take in his life. I just think his media, he's like anti-Kanye. You know, Kanye's like, fuck the media, I don't give a shit. LeBron's like, how can I, like, get the media to suck my dick? You know? It's just anti. I don't like him. I don't respect him as a person. I don't respect him as a basketball player. I don't respect the NBA for catering to him. But I do respect that ref for not calling those ticky-tack bullshit fouls on stream being ass Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I respect it too, just because if they would have called it, I don't know.
If they would have called it would have been no story. I mean, no one would have covered it. They would have been like, yeah. I mean, of course they called it. It was LeBron, you know.
Yeah.
But now that they didn't call it, it's a shitstorm. And they're like, LeBron doesn't get any calls. LeBron gets no respect in the NBA. And it's like, no, it's the opposite, you idiot. It was one game. He didn't get a call.
It's like a spoiled rich kid who one time just like, they're waiting in line and they're like, can I have that candy bar? And a million times they've been able to get that candy bar. But one time they're just like, no, not today. We just bought a bunch of ice cream. I'm about to give you some when we get into the car. And they throw a fit. They just throw a fit because they didn't get what they wanted, what they expected. And so he's been catered to, just like you said. He's been spoiled, and one time they tell him no, and he's lost it. So.
Yep, that's all I've got to say.
Yeah.
Tyler, will you do us the honors?
No.
LeBron, you're a pussy bitch. Come on this podcast and defend yourself, because I have no respect for you as a man or a player.
And NBA, one thing. NBA, enjoy the monster you've created.
Yeah. We're a big fan of Big Baller Brand. Come on here.
No, I hate Big